Yes, tell me anyone. How do you write an if statement in C language?
If condition statement.
If condition statement. Okay, so you are going to write a statement, sorry, the condition within a bracket, or whether it is an optional, or if you are not writing a condition within bracket, what happens?
Bracket should be compulsory, sir.
Bracket should be compulsory. Okay, so in C language, so you are writing a if within a bracket, you are going to mention the condition, right? Then you can use flower brackets if you have multiple statements within a if. That's how you are writing if statement in C, right? Okay. So in Python, okay, so there is a slight change in the syntax. So here, if condition you are going to write, okay, so the condition, whatever you are writing, you can write within a bracket, or without using the bracket also you can write it here. Okay, so I have shown here if space x greater than 0, okay, then you are ending with a special operator here, colon. Okay, so colon should be compulsory for every a conditional or a control statement or any looping statement in Python. Okay, so the colon should be present. Okay, then only the syntax is correct. Otherwise, you will get a syntax errors. Okay, so if x greater than 0 colon, then after that you will be having one tab space. Okay, so the statement should be written within the if. Okay, so we have seen the indentation, right? So this is called the indentation. The statement whatever you are writing within if should come inside, okay, one tab space inside the if. So if you're writing in the same line, then you will be getting error again. Okay, so the print statement should be inside the if. Then print x is positive. Okay, this is a simple if statement. Okay, so I have shown the corresponding flow chart in the left hand side. Okay, if using the condition you are going to write within the diamond shape. Okay, x greater than 0. If it is true, or if it is yes, then it is going to execute the statement print x is positive. Otherwise, it will go to the next statement, right? So one more criteria here is, if you have a body with no statement. Suppose I don't want to execute the body of the if. Okay, so at that time you can just simply mention the pass. Okay, so you have a situation wherein you don't want to execute the statement within if. Okay, just I want to check the condition and I need to pass it on to the next statement. So at that time you just what you're supposed to do is, if x less than 0 here, if x is a negative number, okay, I don't want to execute any statement, so just I'll be writing as by using a pass. Okay, so pass indicates, so the control will move to the next statement. Okay, so which will not do any operation, and just it will go to the next. Okay, so the example with a value, okay, a is equal to 10, right? If a greater than 5, right, if a is greater than 5, the condition, then I'm going to print a value. Okay, so in this case a value is 10, so a value is 10, so 10 greater than 5. Okay, so obviously the condition is true, so print a. Okay, I'm printing the value of a, so I'll be getting the output as 10. Okay, so this is how you can write the if statements in Python. Okay, so is there any doubt in the if? Yes.
Sir, is pass a keyword or anything like that?
Yes. Once again.
Sir, pass is a keyword or what is it, sir?
Yeah. It is just it's a keyword, like a if we have it is just a keyword.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we'll come to the next the alternative execution of if, that is if else. Okay, so if the condition is true, we are going to execute one statement. Okay, if the condition is false, we are going to execute the another statement. Okay, so if you have two statements to be executed, based on the condition which is true or false, then we will be going for if else. Okay, so that is the second form of if that is an that is alternative of if execution of an if. Okay, so suppose if x mod 2 equal to 0, so I want to check whether a given number is even or odd. Okay, so in that case, so I need to mention the condition. Okay, if the given number is divisible by 2, if the given number is divisible by 2 completely. Okay, so that means the division of, if I divide a number with a 2, if I am getting the remainder as 0, then you are saying that it is a uneven, right? So this is the logic for calculating the even and odd. Okay, so if x mod 2 equal to 0, then print x is even, else, okay, print x is odd. So for else also you need to have a colon. Okay, colon is must. So if you miss out the colon, then you will get a syntax error, right? So colon is must, and the indentation should be proper. Okay, the print statement within else should come inside else statement. Okay, and the corresponding flowchart is shown in the left hand side. Okay, if x mod 2 equal to 0, that is the condition we are mentioning. If it is true, yes, then print x is even. No, then print x is odd. Okay, so this is about the if else. Okay. So next we will go for the, if you have a chain the condition, then that means if you have a series of conditions in your program, right? Suppose I want to print a grade of a student. Okay, grade of set of students. Okay, so based on the marks. Okay, so if the student scores above 90, then he belongs to S grade. If he scores above 80, then he belongs to A grade, B grade, so on like that. Okay, so based on your marks, you are supposed to print a grade. So if in that case you have a series of conditions, right? Then obviously you are going for, you should have a else if statements in your program. Okay, so that can be achieved using the else if ladder. You have studied in C, right? Else if ladder? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in C you will be calling it as else if ladder. Or okay, so in Python, so you are achieving by writing the keyword elif. Okay, by you are achieving the else if, the same thing you are achieving by using elif. Okay, elif, you will be calling it as elif statements. Okay, so here the example, if x less than y, print x is less than y, elif. Okay, so you should not write else if. Okay, so the keyword used in Python is elif, elif. Okay, x greater than y, the next condition, then x is greater than y, else the last statement. So that if these two conditions are false, then it is going to execute the statement within the else. Okay, so print x and y are equal. Okay, so if you have a more than one conditions, then you are going to use an elif. Okay, so which is similar to your else if ladder in a C language. Okay, so here is the flow chart in the left hand side. Okay, so the first condition, x less than y. If it is yes, print the number is less. Okay, if x is greater than y, yes, print greater than, otherwise print equal. Okay, so this is one of the simple example which uses elif, right? So you can take this elif for writing the different programs, right? So whatever I have told. Okay, so if the student scores above 90, okay, so the marks, first you need to read the marks. Okay, then if marks is greater than 90, then the student grade is S grade. Then if it is greater than 80, A grade, B grade, like that, you can write a program. Okay. Yes, any doubt? Different variations of if and elif. Yes. Okay, if not, I'll move to the next slide. So we'll again see how exactly we'll write in a Python interpreter. Okay, so just we'll first finish it off the how syntax, how do you write a syntax, and examples we will see, right? So next one is the alternative, the same one, right? So here we have a series of conditions. If choice equal to A, then print bad guess. Elif choice equal to B, then print good guess. Elif choice equal to C, then you have a close but not good. Okay. So here you don't have a else. So if you don't have a else for an elif, what happens? Just tell me. Yes, will I get an error or will the code will work? Yes,
It will work.
it will work. You have checked. Yes. How many of you say it is the correct? Hello?
Sir,
Is it a correct? If I don't have this one, what you say? Else, will the code work? Just tell me. Want the answer from your end? Huh?
yes, sir, it is work.
It will work. Okay. Fine. So, give me an example. Yes, can anyone give me an example? Yes. Okay, so anyway, we will see all this criteria. Okay, so whether it will work or not, right? So once again, we will see with the interpreter, right? So no problem. So next, uh, we will we'll go to the nested conditions. Okay, nested conditions. So what do you mean by nested conditions? Yes, anyone? Yes, tell me. What do you mean by nested conditions or nested statements you have studied in C, right? I want the answer from your end. One of you can answer it. Already you have uh, studied these in a C, right? Yes, anyone?
Sir, a condition inside another condition.
Okay. Condition within another condition. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so nested is basically you have one inside the another. Okay, so as your friend told, so one condition within another condition. Okay, so if you have it like that, if you have the statement like that, right? So suppose I'm writing an if statement within another if statement, that is called as nested if. And similarly, if I am writing an if else statement within another if else, then it is nested if else. Okay. So here, if x equal to y, the condition, print x and y are equal. Okay. Else, if x is less than y, okay, so print x is less than y. Else, print x is greater than y. So if you observe this set of statements here, if else, the inner if else is present within a outer if else. Okay. So whenever you have statements like this, then we'll be calling it as a nested condition. Okay, we'll be calling it as a nested condition. So based on the outer, okay, so if the outer condition is true, okay, then only it will go inside here, right? So if the outer condition itself is false, then it is not going to check the condition within the whatever you have mentioned within the outer. Okay, so if the condition is true, then only it will go inside and check for another condition. Otherwise, it will come out of the particular nested condition, right? So here is the corresponding flow chart. X equal to y. If it is yes, it is going to print equal, right? Then it will go and check another condition. Okay. If x is less than y, right? So then x is, it is going to execute x less than y, otherwise x greater than y, right? So we'll see all these different examples with Python interpreter. I will just share the Python interpreter. So I will stop the PPT, right, and share the interpreter window. Is everyone able to see the Python interpreter? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Once again. All right, so let's start with a fresh window. So here, so I want to write a simple if statement. Okay, so how do you write if condition? Okay. So if something like the value 10 greater than 5, okay, so then what I supposed to write here? Colon. Okay, so then 10 greater than 5, print 10 is greater, or whatever the message you want to type, you just type it over within a print statement. So if you execute this, you will be getting 10 is greater than 5. Okay, suppose if I missed out colon, so what will happen? So we'll see here. So syntax error, right? So colon is must in order to write a if statement or any of the conditional statement, right? So this is a simple if statement, right? Suppose, as I told, I need to check the number which is even number or not, right? So I need to read a number, right? So for that, I'll be using the input function, right? So input enter value of a, right? So what will be the default data type of the input, which will
String.
string. So what I supposed to do here?
Int of input.
Yes, int of input. Yeah. So I need to convert the whatever the value I am providing, that will be in terms of string, so that it should convert into an integer. So for that, I am using the int data type here. Okay, so that I can enter the integer value. Okay, so suppose I have entered the value as 10. Okay. Next, I need to check whether this number is an even number or not. Okay, so how do you do that? The condition. Yes, tell me.
If
10
a
model
percentage 2 is equal to 0,
Okay, if a
percentage
percentage 2 equal
is
to
equal
equal to
to
0. Okay, so next,
print x is even,
print here it is a, so a is even. Close it. And where should I write else? Where should I have to write else? The indentation. Can I write in the same line of print, or where exactly I have to write?
if
Same
we
line.
write in the same line of print, we'll get error, sir.
Yes, you will get an error. So where we have to write?
Backspace,
Backspace. Okay, so I have to write here else. Okay, so it should be in the same line of if. Okay, so else print
a is odd.
is fine. So if I execute now, right, so I'll be getting the answer as a is even. The output is a is even. So 10 is the which will divide completely, and the remainder is 0. Okay, so it is going to execute the print within a if. Okay, so if I have a different number, right? So suppose my number is something which is not which is not a even number. Okay, so or which is not completely divided by 2. Suppose I have entered the, sorry, I need to give a value for that, right? So okay, so if you are not giving the input there itself, so it will go. So it's an error, right? So suppose I have given the value as 7, right? And then I have the same set of code. So I'll be getting the output as odd. A is odd because here the input value is 7, 7 mod 2. So ultimately the remainder is not 0. So it is going to execute the statement within a else. Right? Yes, any doubt? Any doubts here? Yes?
Sir, can you show for pass?
Pass. Okay, I will. So if what we'll say, if a is less than, what is the condition you want to write it here? Less than 0 or whatever you write it. Okay, we'll see. Okay, if a is less than 0, right, colon, I'll just write a pass. Yes, so you want to write anything over here, the statement, print if some statement. Just have a print. So, okay, so we are getting the invalid syntax. Why it is invalid syntax? Anybody?
After if, there should be a one tab of space to print.
Sir, you have used brackets.
Brackets is, as I told here. Here also I used bracket in the previous.
Okay.
So I told, no, it is an optional. Bracket is an optional in Python, right? So you can use, or you, if you're not using also, you can have the, it is a correct one, right? So okay. So here, what it is happening if a is less than 0. Okay, so what is the a value here? A value is, we have entered as something 7, right? So 7 less than 0? No. So we will have the condition in such a way that So it is true. Okay, so here it is not executing, right? So write a condition like that. A is greater than 0, pass, right? Print some message. No. Can you, okay, now can you see the output here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And now the value of A is 7. Okay, so whatever the last value you have entered, so for A I have entered as 7. Okay, so 7 greater than 0, that is true. Okay, so if the condition is true, it is executing the pass. Okay, so just means it is going to the control is moving to the next statement. So what is the next statement? I have print hello. So it is executing the hello statement. Okay. Write any other programs you want to. So we'll have a set of using an elif, right? So if I have a more than one condition, as we have discussed, okay, if x is, sorry, before that I need to take two values. So x int of input of, okay, so enter x, okay, so similarly, so enter some x value, right? For I will enter y equal to int of input of, enter y, right? So some value I will enter as 1, right? Then if uh, x greater than y, so if x greater than y, colon print x is greater than y. So otherwise, I have one more condition. So that I'll be doing by using elif, right? X less than y. Okay. Print x is less than y. Right? Otherwise, I will have sorry. Okay, I have executed, so that's why it is giving. So x is greater than y. So 4 is the x value and 1 is the y value. 4 greater than 1. 4 greater than 1. So it is executing x greater than y. So as I told, if I don't have, so as one of you are told, so if you don't have the else also, it is just based on the condition, it is going to execute the corresponding statement within the condition. So suppose, sorry, I just have the different input which is same. So x is equal to 4 and y is equal to same input. I'll give 4 and 4, and then I'll mention one more here, else part I have not written previously. So else print x and y are equal. So what will be the output now? Yes.
X and Y are equal.
X and Y are equal.
Okay, so x and y are equal, obviously. So I have the same values of x and y. So here x greater than y, the condition false. So it will go to the next condition, x less than y, 4 less than 4, that is also false. So then finally it will go to the else block and it will execute the statement within a else block, right? So this is how you can make use of. So you can practice the different examples. Okay, so here I am just giving how exactly you can make use of the if else and elif, right? So you can try to write a different programs and try to execute the different program, then you can understand it clearly. Okay, so in your home you just install the python, right, and try to execute the different examples, then only so you can understand it better, right? So if you just listen here and if you're not practicing any programs, okay, it is very difficult and you will not be following, right? So next.
Excuse me,
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Hmm.
If the condition is given in else, will the program be executed, sir?
Will the condition in else?
Yes, sir.
No, right? So you should not write any condition within else. What is the purpose of else? Tell me first. What is the
If
purpose of
if
else?
if if statement is not executed, then it will go to else statement.
Uh, okay. So why you want to have the this one condition in else? Yes. You are asking like this. Suppose x is greater than y, right? So according to your question, if x is greater than y, x is so some statement over here, right? So you mean to say here else again you want to have the condition, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See here, you are getting an error. Okay,
Yes, sir.
right? So you should not have the condition within the for the else, right?
Yes, sir.
So what it does is the else will be matched to the corresponding if, right? So in C also you might whether you have written any conditions for the else statements.
No, sir.
No, right? So the same thing will work in Python
No,
also.
sir.
In Python also the same thing. So there is no change in the control statements and the usage of the control statement. Only change is the syntax. Okay. So for
Yes,
the
sir.
else, so else is just it will just match with the corresponding if. Whether if the if is present, then only else will execute. Okay. If the if you don't have a if statement only in your program, then else will not be used,
Yes, sir.
and there is no significance for the else, right? So
Yes,
it
sir.
is like a they have a link, right? So if and else they have to go in hand to hand. So if you have a if, then only else will have some significance, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Yes. Any other doubts? Yes. Any other doubts? Okay. So if not, so we'll move to the next part, right? So next we have is yes, I'll stop this Python this one. Okay, so Python shell script I'll be stopping. I'll be sharing the PPT. We'll come back to the PPT. All right. So where we were, we were in the next step conditions. Okay, right. So till here we were there. So next, the concept is uh, catching the exceptions using try and except. Okay, so it is another different concept here, right? So catching the exceptions using try and except. Okay, so first of all, we need to understand before going this, we'll have some background knowledge, right? So you heard the errors, right? Different types of errors: compile time error, right? Runtime error. If it is the syntax is not correct, syntax error, logical error. So all those different kinds of error you have heard and you might have seen while you are executing your code, right? So the next terminology or the next term what we are hearing is exception. Have anybody heard the word exception, or what do you mean by exception? Yes? Anyone? If anyone, if you have heard the exception and what is the meaning of that? And yes? Those who studied C++, they might be knowing. Okay, so this concept were there in the C++ also. Exception? No? Okay, fine. So exceptions are nothing but the runtime errors. Okay, exceptions are nothing but the normal definition of exception is the runtime error. So if you are getting the errors during the execution, okay, so those type of errors we will be calling it as exceptions. Okay, so you can handle those exceptions. So suppose I have a runtime error in my program. So for example, A divided by B. Okay, so for example, A divided by B. If B value is 0, what happens? Tell me. If B value is 0,
Infinite.
that is I will tell that it is a infinity. Okay, so A by B is the sum operation I am performing, division operation, and if I am inputting B as a 0, that will leads to divide by 0 error. Okay, so we'll be calling it as divide by 0 error. So that means infinity is the value. Sorry, if the division is 0, so I'll be getting as division by 0, right? So in that situation, I don't want to stop my program. Okay, so if the user is entering the if the user has entered the value for B as a 0, right? So it should display, it should not give an error message. So instead of that, the program should continue with the statements. Okay, so suppose, so if A divided by B, and if the user enters B as a 0, then you should have the message. Okay, it is a division by 0. Something like that, you should give the message to the user. Okay, so rather than getting the error, right? So these kind of errors can be handled. Runtime errors can be handled, what we call as exceptions. So exceptions will be handled by using try and except. Okay, so in Python we are handling the exceptions by using try statement. Try is a statement, and except is also one of the statement. Okay, so both we have a keyword, they are the keywords, right? So we are handling the exceptions by using try and except. Okay, so we'll go with an example here. Okay, first, speed equal to input, enter the speed of a car, right? Enter the speed of a car, right? So I will enter something like integer, the character AIT. Suppose I have entered the this one as AIT. Okay, then if I am converting this to an integer, okay, so what I am getting an error here. What kind of error I am getting? Why this error? Can anybody explain? Yes. You can see the screen and you can tell me. So what kind of error and why I am getting this error message? Trace back file line 1. Interspeed value error, invalid literal for the int with base 10. Yes.
Sir, if we give an int speed, then we need to enter only the values, not the alphabets like A, I, T.
Yeah. Okay. So the input is correct, right? So input just I don't know. So I'll just enter as this, right? So if I'm converting at that time, it will give a problem because you can convert to an integer if only it is a number, right? Only it is a decimal number, then only you can convert it. So if I'm converting the value which is not an integer, that means here AIT is not an integer, that is a string. So obviously you get as invalid literal for the int with a base 10, right? So Python, what it does, it will Python will stop this immediately, right? So we need to take care of such things. Okay, this is just an example, right? So here one more example, right? So there is a conditional execution structure built into Python in order to handle these types of expected and unexpected errors using try or except, right? Suppose another example here, input enter Fahrenheit temperature. Okay, so I need to enter the temperature value, right? So what I am doing is right, so using the try and except, right? So using the try and except, I am writing the, so if the user enters, once again, I will show the inputs also. Fahrenheit is equal to FAHR, that is the Fahrenheit, float of input. Okay, so whatever the input I am taking from the user, I am converting into float. I'm converting into a float, then I'm assigning to a variable FAHR. Then Celsius, I'm going to convert into a Celsius. For that, this is the conversion. Fahrenheit value minus 32.0 into 5.0 by 9.0. That will convert into a Celsius, and then I'm going to print the Celsius value. Okay. So next, in the except block, and entering print, please enter a number. Please enter a number. That means for this kind of program, I need to enter the number only. Okay, if I'm not entering the number, suppose if I'm entering the character, which is I have told in the previous example, if suppose the user enters a character, then it has to run the program and it should continue with the program. It should not give any errors. Okay, so in the previous case, so I'm getting an error. Okay, so instead of getting an error, I need to give a error message to the programmer or the user. So here that I will be writing in the except block. Please enter a number. Suppose user enters, so I'll go to the execution. If I execute this particular program, okay, so in the prompt it is not up here. Okay, so you can enter, you can execute like this also, Python, then file name.py, right? Enter Fahrenheit temperature. Okay, suppose I have entered as 72. Okay, so then the corresponding value I'll be getting, that is in terms of Celsius, that is 22.2222. Right? In the same example, if I enter a Fahrenheit temperature, suppose the user enters as some characters, right? Then instead of getting an error, right? So I'll be getting the output as please enter a number. So I am telling the user to please enter a number. This program is to take a number as an input. Okay, if you're not entering the number as an input, then your program will not work. So I am handling this type of errors. Okay, so instead of generating the error by the interpreter, so I am catching those exceptions are the errors, and I am telling the user to properly give the input. Okay. So any doubts here? So normally the statements which leads to an error. Okay, normally the statements which leads to an error. So in this case, in this case, right? So whenever you are converting input to a float, okay, this whatever you are passing here, it should be a number, and as well as here you are using, right, FHR, that should be a number. If it is not a number, the input is not a number, right? So obviously it will go to the accept block and it will execute. Please enter a number. If it is a number, then it will take that number and it will do the calculation and it will print it. Okay, so that's what it is happening, and doing for 72 it is a number, and the corresponding Celsius value using the formula I'm getting 22 float value. If it is not a number, then it is printing as please enter a number. So what you need to understand is, so using try and accept, you can handle the runtime errors. The statements which leads to an errors, also you can handle those using try and accept. In try block, normally you are writing the statements which will generate the error, and in accept block, you are going to handle those errors. You are going to handle the errors. That means you are telling the message to the user, you need to give the proper input, like that. Those kind of messages you are going to write within the accept block. Okay. So handling an exception with a try statement is called as catching an exception. Okay, you are going to catch those exceptions within the catch block. Okay, in this example, the accept clause prints an error message. Okay, so in general, catching an exception gives you a chance to fix the problem. Okay, so caching is basically, it will tell the user in order to fix, instead of getting the error message, so it will tell the user to, this is the problem. Okay, you have not entered the input properly, you just give the input properly. So like that kind of messages it is going to tell to the user. Okay, or try it again. Okay, instead of ending the program, right? So it will tells the user to give a proper input. Okay, so that's about try and accept. Okay, so if you have any doubts, you can just ask. Otherwise, I will wind up the class for today's.
So if we use the accept statement,
Mhm.
it will remove all the types of errors, right?
No, it is not like it will remove the errors. So you are going
It
to
will catch
handle.
the errors. I
It
mean,
will
it
catch.
will catch
Yeah, yeah,
all types of error. But in
yeah.
Java, we can accept some kinds of error and leave others. Is that possible? Yeah.
Example, what you are telling. Some types
Like
of error means.
we have error like array out of bound index.
Yes, array out of boundary index. You can catch it out. Catch
Uh,
using the
but
catch.
if we don't want to catch other errors, we just want to check one type of error. Is there any statement for that?
Uh, no, you can do it. You can do it by using try and accept only.
Okay,
You can try it by using try and accept only. Okay, so whatever the errors you want to check, right? You can do it by using try and accept, and also you can have the multiple try and accept. Okay, fine.
Sir,
Yes,
where can we download this Python interpreter?
Python, you just Google it out. Okay, you have the latest edition 3.7 or 3.8
Is
also
there
coming.
any particular website?
Oh, no, you just try. You just in Google, you just type it out. Okay,
Okay,
so
okay, sir.
Python software or Python, you just type it out. Okay, so you have the website called as www.python.org.
Okay, sir.
Okay, python.org. So there you will be getting the downloads, the latest version of Python. Okay, so now it is 3.8. Okay, so you can have the lower
8.5.
8.5, 3.8.5. You can also have the lower version also, not a problem for executing the simple programs. Okay, fine.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll wind up and I'll stop the screen. Okay, thank you.